Okay. Update to version 1.24 will be released on December 15th. PlayStation 4, PS5, Steam versions of Guilty Gear. General game modes. Added support for cross-platform. Yay. We're happy about cross-platform. Cross-platform, yay. Online matches are now possible across platforms. You can view the rankings, replays, and creations for Combo Maker and Digital Figure. Cross-platform features, as mentioned in this text, refers to online play between PlayStation consoles and Steam. Yeah, the Xbox version doesn't launch until next year, right? So we probably won't see that. Oh, hold on. Supposed to be capturing my cursor, but I don't see it showing up. Ah, no, there we go. Okay. Maybe I'm just blind. Added an option to turn cross-platform play on or off in settings under System Settings. Option is set to on by default. While set to on, online match you'll enter Ring Tower and Open Park with support for cross-platform play. In player match, you'll be able to enter rooms with players on other platforms when the platform is set to all during create room/search room. While set to off. Online match, you'll enter Ring Tower and Open Park exclusive to each platform. I guess there's even further, like, separating it out if you want to go back to playing without cross-platform enabled. Which I'm guessing people may want to do if they're running into... Because I did read a little bit ahead, I don't think there's any benchmarking still for the PC versions, which means if people have really bad PCs, they're still going to have, like, they're still going to drop frames against people. And, like, at least if you're on PS4, there may be stages that are, like, bad to play on those platforms, but it's not going to be as bad as somebody with, like, a really shit PC connecting to you, just, like, dropping frames like crazy. But I think for most players, like, they're just going to be leaving cross-platform play on at all times. This is just going to increase the player pool for everybody, which is a good thing. Okay, I was on while set to off. You'll be able to enter Ring Tower and Open Park exclusive to each platform. In a player match, you'll be unable to change the platform setting from same platform during create room/search room. I guess you need to go back into your main options if you want to join rooms with crossplay enabled. So if you're, like, swapping back and forth, you need to just make sure you do that before you connect to player matches. And a platform icon next to player names. Yeah, we saw this during the beta. So this person's on PlayStation playing, and then this person is on a different platform than them, and that's just kind of how it works. That'd be cool. Also, we get the ping indicator, which I think they talk about later in the notes, which, thank God. Added a search/display filter for cross-platform to ranking, replay, combo maker, and digital figure. You're able to choose between players on the same platform as you, or all players, including those on other platforms. Confirmation message will now pop up when selecting tutorial from the main menu. This is just something nice. The arcade boss theme Crawl can now be selected as BGM. I didn't realize you couldn't select it before, but that's good because Crawl is an awesome song. Fix a bug where the BGM high voltage would not loop correctly. Weird. Errors of certain missions for the actual conditions. Hey Jason, how's it going? I'm just going over the Strive patch notes. There's a big old patch dropping on the 15th. One day before the Street Fighter 6 beta starts. So hopefully I'm able to do both. I also just realized that, like, part of the chat text is getting cut off, but I don't think I can change that quickly. So it's just because it's going into a white void with the patch notes. That's fine. Hope you're having a nice chill Tuesday. Let me know if music's too loud, but it should be okay. I imagine it's okay. I can always turn it down more. Fix errors with certain missions where the actual conditions required to complete the mission varied from what was displayed. This is just fixing stuff in the tutorial. And minor bugs. You ate a sandwich and now you plan sleeps? Nice. I've started working towards, since we were talking about NGU Idol last time, I started working towards completing the first basic challenge 5 times. Didn't think it would take me so long to get back up to level 58, so long on each of those times. But the experience reward is huge. So I finally started dumping into getting more energy power, like the augmentations and time machine stuff all level up faster, and the advanced training. So hopefully I can tackle the Titans pretty soon. I imagine I could have tackled them before, but I'm just being lazy. You just finished no Augs? Nice. So each one you have to like complete a certain number of times to hit a bonus threshold, right? Like you get a first time completion bonus, and then I saw there's like a 5-time completion bonus for the first basic challenge. I imagine it's like that with the other ones, but I can't look at the other ones yet. That'll be fun when we get to them. Did I get my special gift for being on Steam yet? Was it just like the 10 free spins or something? I remember getting some random special gifts while playing. Yeah, okay, yeah. I already got them. At first I wanted to wait to cash them out because I saw that like you get better stuff the longer you play. I was like, oh, I'll just hold on to these 10 free spins and just not spend them. But eventually I got bored. the boredom took me and I just kept spinning. Okay, network mode changes. Added a function to report other players. Hey, thank God. That's so nice. Finally. Reported players will be evaluated from various standpoints. If they are determined to be malicious, measures such as suspending them from online play may be taken. Do not overuse or misuse the report function. Please note that we cannot respond to inquiries about the contents or results of player evaluations. Yeah. Added a mute function, which hides the player name and any text sent by a specific player from your screen. Mute function can be selected from the R code of the person you would like to mute. Thank God. Holy moly, we can report and mute people. Yes. The spins level up as you do them. Oh, okay. So it's not over time, like I thought it was. Yeah. Muting a player will make the following changes to your screen display regarding the muted player. Player name. If the player is on the same platform as you, it will display their ID. If they are on a different platform, it will display them as a GG player. Text sent. Text from the muted player will not be shown in chat bubbles, chat log, etc. Can't view their digital figure or other created content like combos. Can't view the match replays uploaded by the muted player. I imagine if the muted player is playing against somebody that you would like to watch the replays from, you could view them, because the other player would have uploaded them. Potentially. Changes have been made to the in-game block function for blocking specific players. In addition to making matches with the blocked player impossible, it now also places restrictions on the player name and text sent from them, as with the mute function. Blocked players will remain blocked even after shutting down the game. Oh yeah, I completely glanced over this. Any muted players will be automatically unmuted after shutting down the game. This seems weird. Why? Why would it unmute the players who muted? What the? Okay. But if you want to permanently not see them, then you block them. I guess. Yeah, I might have muted you today, but you'll definitely be different tomorrow. It's like, that's fucking weird. I guess they're worried about isolating too much of the player base if there's too many people being blocked and muted. But that seems like the incorrect thing to worry about in this case, when you're adding these kinds of functions. Like, that's probably their thinking along the dev line, but like, that's kind of whack. Changes have been made to the block function. So yeah, they'll be similar to the mute function. Names of blocked players are now displayed in red in the online lobby. Okay, so you can identify other players that you've blocked online. Names of players you follow are now displayed in blue in the member list. Okay, cool. Fix an error where an incorrect message would be displayed after surpassing the follow limit. Fix an error where an incorrect message would be displayed after surpassing the block limit. So there's still a limit to the amount of people. Opponents can now be blocked from the results screen. Cool. You don't have to go to their R code anymore. You hold down a button, I think it says. Yeah, by holding the block the opponent button. Although this, if they wanted to stop people from like muting or blocking too many people, adding this might be the thing that like You have somebody who's like raging a little bit, and then they're like, "Oh, fucking block this person." Just upset after a loss or something. But I think it's still good to have. It makes it so much nicer than having to like find the person, then go to their R code page thing, and have to go through that. R code. Reduce the loading time for R code top page. Thank God. Used to take forever. Change conditions for characters shown on the R code top page from most wins to highest level. Okay. So you'll see their highest level character. Yeah, that guy main soul blocked. It'd be like when I was playing Axel, when I was doing my 100 games with Axel, and like every Potemkin and Gold Lewis player just fucking dodged me for like that week. Like, oh, okay. It may be just like, oh, you play my counter pick. You're blocked. Change conditions for the character shown to highest level. So, yeah, that makes sense. You now see how many players are in the same room as you during training mode matchmaking. Cool. Because we know that, like, even when I'm doing the training mode matchmaking, what the game does behind the scenes is it takes my little avatar with my zebra legs and just plops me into a lobby at one of the machines. So even though I'm in training mode, I'm technically in one of the ranked lobbies. But now you can see like which lobby you're in or how many players are there when you're in training mode. So that's kind of cool. And a fucking ping indicator before the match starts. Yes. Finally. Oh, I should be updating my notepad. Forgot about that. Cross-platform. Ping indicator. I don't think there's anything I'm necessarily worried about. Although maybe we can put the muting stops with game shutdown. Although that might be more in meh territory. Ping indicator. What else did we go over? Muting, blocking. Muting, reporting, blocking, easier. Great. Awesome stuff. Player match. Fix a bug where the spectator icon would not be displayed. Squall!
Louca,
The sexy man. Oh, thank you. I was trying to do a hair flip, but it's really difficult with the headphones. So you'll get a mini hair flip. Thanks for the 22 months. Well, 25 months, but 22 month streak. Holy shit! How's it going, man? Hope you're having a good time. Just vibing, looking at the patch notes. Fix a bug where the spectator icon would not be displayed. Okay. Fixed a bug where room members would not be displayed correctly when players entered a room. Oh yeah, it would show like random people leaving and rejoining sometimes. Fix a bug in a player match where, after beginning training mode matchmaking at a specific timing, the player would not enter training mode and could not begin matchmaking. Okay. Yeah. A little over 2 years. Check that shit out. Hell yeah. You've only seen like 5 games in those 2 years? It's probably been more than that. It has been Persona 4 several times, to be fair, but it's probably been more than just 5 games. I still technically haven't brought myself to finish it. Whoops. Adjusted rules for assigned floor changes. To make it easier to match with players of the same skill, the rule preventing players from falling below a certain floor, even after repeated losses, based on certain input techniques and floors previously reached, has been eased. So, yeah, the only one that I know for sure is that when you hit Celestial, when you, like, complete your Celestial challenge, in the following months, you can no longer drop below floor 10. Yeah, this is the latest patch notes. They released, like, an hour ago, roughly. So this is for the update on December 15th. There's a whole lot of system changes. They've added... in my little notes here, we have cross-platform, ping indicator, a muting and reporting function, which is great, and they've made blocking people easier. It's also good. And the one thing we've seen that's kind of meh is that if you've muted somebody, they stop being muted when you shut the game down. Fucking weird. So, That one was just fucking weird. There have been no changes to the rules for rising floors. Okay, so it's harder to drop floors, but it's just about the same going up. Added the option to skip rating update. Oh my god. That's a win. Skip rating update can be turned on or off in skip rating update sequence. And you can also continue the rematch up to 3 matches. Continue rematching after rank up. Thank God. You know how jarring it was those first couple times where it's like, you've gone up a floor, you've gone up a floor, you've gone down a floor. Like, ah. But you can now, like, finish out each set. I still wish each set was a first to 3 instead of it just being 3 games. Because just being 3 games is still weird. I wish it would let you run the full set, and especially in ranked. I think it doesn't matter as much in, like, the parks where, like, casual play is, but doing, like, 3 out of 5 for the ranked, I think makes more sense than just playing a flat 3 games and then stopping. Weird. But it does decide a winner, yeah. It does decide a winner. All it does is now, like, if you win the first game and it's going to rank you up, it doesn't just pull you out of the game to play the rank up sequence. It lets you, like, finish out the set, which is so nice. You can now select the room you'd like to enter. Yeah, so there's going to be multiple rooms for, like, each floor, and you can view them individually, which is nice, because before it was a lottery if you were just trying to hop into different rooms, whether you would get the same one as somebody or otherwise. Replay Theater. Add an option to view player information from saved replay screen. Fix a bug where the figure options order would sometimes change under Edit Avatar. Add or related. Fix a bug where the processing load would increase when a counter hit occurred on high screen resolutions. So this should help people playing on PC, which is great. Battle version has been updated. Minor bugs that made battle balance changes. See below. Okay, so this is character balance and bugs fixes. Universal mechanics. Changes to game mechanics. These changes address the issue of difficulty for the defender to launch a counteroffensive due to the attacker remaining at an advantage for an extended time. Tension gauge. Is my, like, feed flickering for you guys, or is it fine? I swear I see it flickering out of the corner of my eye. But it could just be the case that I can't really do anything about it. So sorry if that is the case. Okay. Where was I? Tension gauge. Tension gauge now increases more the higher your character's risk level. Okay, so if you've... Yeah, this increases the reward for successfully making it out of a dangerous situation going on the offensive. So the risk level is a bar that builds when you're on the defensive, and at a certain point, it'll force you to take, like, counter hit state attacks. And its biggest thing, the biggest thing it does is when somebody does land a hit on you, their hits will start consuming your risk, and they'll be dealing unscaled damage until it gets back to 0. What this is saying is when you're successfully blocking, you will now gain more meter for, like, RCs and supers and stuff like that. So this is really good. So when you're on the defensive, you now gain a bit more meter. Tension gauge gain rate for the attacker no longer increases when the opponent blocks while their risk level is at max. So yeah, if you were continuing your offensive and you had a person, like, stuck blocking and their risk was all the way maxed out, to just have a guard bar, it's essentially the same thing, but instead of breaking their guard when it's maxed, it gives you unscaled damage when you hit them. So instead of getting, like, a guaranteed hit after a shit ton of blocking, it rewards you for, like, finally opening them up. So it's, like, a bit different, but it's essentially the same as a guard bar. Yeah, they had a tweet for this one, so you can see. Yeah, the purple gauge under burst is where the risk is. And now, if the risk is cranked, it doesn't build quite as fast. So before, you can see, this is the version we're on right now. It builds a lot faster when the risk is like maxed out, and now it's building a lot slower. So they're trying to help people who are on the defense and stuck blocking and stuff. That's good. Risk level now resets when a Psych Burst is activated. So yeah, before, if you were bursting out of a combo or block string pressure, it wouldn't reset your risk. So if somebody baited your burst and you had cranked risk, you would take even more damage. But now, whenever you go for a burst, it'll deplete all that. And you'll still eat a fat combo if your burst gets baited, but it won't be as punishing as it was before. Hopefully. So, I like the risk reset after burst. I think that's a cool option. I do worry slightly reading that, like, if somebody's on the defense, so a big complaint about some of the bigger body or higher health characters is they already have this big feeling of when you're running offense on them that they're building a ton of meter already, and usually it's because they have higher health pools. They're just able to tank the damage so that, like, you're hitting them and they're building meter already. But this means that they'll also, like, if they're blocking, they're also going to be gaining that. So it's going to feel maybe even worse running offense on higher health pool characters. Like, it'll add to that comeback factor that they already just innately have, having more health. These would be characters like Nago, Potemkin, Gold Lewis, Leo, you know, these big body, high health, high guts characters that already feel pretty bad if you're like running a bunch of offense and then you reset to neutral and then you've like spent a bunch of meter trying to open them up and like doing a bunch of damage to them. Now, you know, if you've already been doing a bunch of damage and then like spending a bunch of meter to run more offense to try and open them up, then now they're building more meter while they're blocking it out as well. So it just kind of like compounds on that issue, I think. Kind of like a real rich get richer thing. I will put that in my worried about note. Big bodies gaining extra meter defense could feel bad. Changes affecting all characters. As a general rule, these changes improve balance for areas where some characters notably excelled over others. Hurtbox of forward plus punch. The height of the hurtbox as the attack comes out is now the same for all characters. The height of the hurtbox was the same for all characters at the lowest point of the attack. The hurtbox height during startup varied between characters. Making the height of the hurtbox as the attack comes out the same means that there is less of a difference in what strings each other can deal with. Well, the height of the hurtbox is now the same for all characters. For 6p, so it'll be easier across the board to challenge 6ps. It seems a little weird, and I know there was like a while there where people were like, oh, this is 6p the game, and like characters with really strong 6ps were kind of memed about, most notably Testament. But I liked that some of the characters kind of excelled at having the really good anti-air button, and other characters were kind of a little worse off. This is just changing up the hurtbox, so it should make it more consistent to punish these characters, which I think should be fine. If it's just the hurtbox thing, yeah, it's a weird change. It's a really weird change to make that. I'm gonna put it in the surprise section for my stuff. 6p changes universal hurtbox. So it should, yeah, it'll make punishing it more consistent across all the characters, I guess. I just don't know if it's going to devalue like the strong 6Ps that are in the game, like Testament, like Jacko, like Eno, like these, like it can be a defining feature of the character to have a really strong anti-air button and one that can challenge in neutral a little bit better, especially considering it was like a strong tool against like in Far Slash or like different disjointed buttons that were harder to punish for most characters. Like having the characters with the stronger 6Ps was better, and if they're getting hit more consistently by these characters that they used to have this different winning interaction that let them play neutral a little bit better, it could be weird. But it's one that I'm going to have to see, right? Is it universal in the sense that now everybody has better counterplay in these certain scenarios? Or is it going to make the characters who were stronger in that sense now weaker with the rest of the cast? Or is it not going to matter too much because the hurtbox changing will just make it easier to punish with the tools that you were supposed to use, and then the hitboxes and different attributes of their 6Ps are still going to be strong on like a frame data level or stuff like that? That's one I'm really unsure about. Punish me. Hey, Serapion. Yeah, but that's a really weird change. Because, yeah, I think characters should be universal in that sense. Yeah, we're just going over patch notes. Hope you're having a good evening. Right now we're just going over universal changes. They're pretty good. Special moves with retreating movement. These moves now cause the tension balance to deplete and negative value to increase, similar to backdashes, etc. This is great. I think this is the most notable one is Happy Chaos throwing the curse, right? He would throw the curse and you would basically get a free backdash out of it. Or putting out the clone would give him like a free backdash because it wouldn't increase the negative penalty against them. So this is good to see. I don't know if it affects Fukyo back from Nago, but yeah, exactly. This is hitting Happy Chaos. This is probably hitting Nago. I'm trying to think of other characters that have retreating properties that would hurt them, but it's like Axel, where that's always been part of his game, right? Is if you're using these moves that move him backwards, you need to balance that out, so you don't get negative penalty. The man of culture himself. Base damage scaling. Base damage scaling has been added to attacks that did not have it previously, with the exceptions of certain moves. Addresses the problem of some characters having moves used in similar ways, but with varying reward depending on whether or not the move had base damage scaling. The only examples I can think of this would be like Ram or Nago or Happy Chaos, starting from like 5k or 5p, just like their standing light attacks, and maybe getting more reward out of them. But this is another one where like I need more info. Like I need numbers to know what this really means. So could be cool. Hold on. Happy for retreating moves, increasing negative penalty. And if you don't know what negative penalty is, essentially in Guilty Gear, if you are retreating too much or going backwards, you'll get inflicted with negative penalty, which will drain your EX meter over time, essentially. So your rewarded meter for going in and playing offensively, and they'll take your meter away if you are playing too defensively, more or less. There's like a lot more nuance to it than that, but that's the easiest way to look at it. Some moves such as Close Standing Slash still do not have base damage scaling. Yeah, these are your big combo starters with everybody. It was like, I'm glad they're not changing this, because I think it's, I think that's a really good to have like solid combo starters for pretty much everybody. Just delete Happy Chaos? Damn. The hatred. Changes. Tension gauge. Increase the amount of tension gain when blocking attacks. Yep. This is the only one I'm worried about, with like the big bodies potentially feeling like overwhelming when they can finally start their offensive again. It's more of like a rich get richer thing, right? Like, it already feels bad watching them gain all this meter, and then like while you're running offense on them, and then they live with like still a good amount of health and full meter and can just run so much more offense. Watching his gameplay, it's like, ugh, hate him more than Zato. I think he's alright, to be honest. Like, as a playstyle, it can be maybe boring to watch or whatever, but I think having the character diversity he brings is like worthwhile. I think so. I think he can do cool stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of just like, he can put you into checkmate scenarios as it stands. We'll see how that is after the patch, right? Amount gain now increases more depending on your character's risk level. So yeah, you're blocking more and you start gaining more as your risk goes up. Amount of tension gain does not increase for the attacking character when an opponent with max risk level blocks their attacks. Yeah, so less reward for like looping pressure and stuff. So this hurts like Nago, Ram, Chip, Soul, Happy Chaos when he has you in the corner. Yeah, so this should be good. Especially the tension gain with max level risk. I think that's going to be really good. Risk level. Increase rate of risk level depletion over time. Yeah, so when you're not blocking anymore and you're just back in neutral, it depletes faster, which is good. Spike burst resets, yep. Roman cancel. Input timing window is now the same when performed with attack buttons. Press simultaneously and with the Roman cancel button. I guess one of them was faster before? Weird. There is now an input buffer window when performed with the Roman cancel button. Also weird, guess there wasn't an input buffer before. Poor Chip, he suffered enough. He's been doing really well at tournaments recently. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Chip players were secretly rising up through the ranks. And even Arc Revo Japan, which just happened, TY in top 8, who won it, like for 95% of the games, he played Chip. And then like the very last game of the day, he picked Giovanna, who's supposed to be his main. But like for most of top 8, he was just playing Chip. The character's good. I don't know if you got the memo. Chip's been good this patch. He still gets blown up because, you know, he's Chip. He's got no defense. He's got low health. But like, he had really good offense and really solid neutral. So he's been doing good. Fix a bug where the tension gauge would not deplete correctly when a Roman cancel activated simultaneously with the super flash of certain moves. That's weird. I haven't seen that bug. 6P, height of the hurt box. This is still weird. 6P universal hurt box change sounds weird. I need to see it in action. Hopefully it doesn't just like diminish certain characters having better 6Ps than other characters, having like a better anti-air. Because that seems weird for like character identity. I don't know. Base damage scaling. With the exception of certain moves, such as close standing S, added base damage scaling for attacks that did not have it previously. When a move with base damage scaling is the initial hit in a combo, the combo deals less damage. So you'll deal less damage if you start your combos with lights. Hopefully. Attack level. Attack level is an indicator for an attack strength. Yeah, this is something that I'm still not too familiar with. I know there's like strengths level 1 through 4, and it determines like what happens on counter hit and stuff, but I don't understand this system all that well still. With some exceptions, PNK attacks have a low auto attack have a low attack level, whereas heavy slash attacks and special moves tend to have high attack levels. Several benefits to a high attack level partial list: extended knockback duration on hit, increased block stun on block, increased tension gauge gain on hit or block. Proximity requirement for attack to connect. A proximity requirement is added to an attack. This means it will no longer connect unless within a defined range of the opponent's character's position. The range of the proximity requirement depends on the attack. Without proximity requirement, so it shows Potemkin on the left side here, extending his big 6H into the fireball, and basically punching it when it's mid-screen. So with the proximity requirement, the note flies like straight through his fist and hits him. This is weird. I worry about this one. In the specific case of note, it's always been like a big legacy thing that if they were sending note full screen, you would basically extend a hurt box into it, because specifically with Ino's note, it builds up hits over distance traveled. So like if you were able to hit it earlier and extend your hitbox into it and get it off the screen, it would only do like 1 to 2 hits, where if it travels the full screen, it does like 5 to 6 or something like that. So it causes like a bit more damage, a bit more stun. You don't get it? Let me actually pull up an example of this. Okay, so Note has like a proximity thing where it'll do less hits the less it travels. Right here it's doing 2 hits. We back up a bit, flies more, and it hits 4 times. So specifically, in the case of Ino, what you could do as counterplay was use a move that'll extend your hurt box into it. See? Use like Soul 6H, so it'll deal less hits, and you'll recover sooner. But from what I understand from the changes listed, they're going to have it so the note has to travel a certain distance before it can start hitting at all. So there's no more of this extending hurt boxes into it to get it off the screen faster and like stop it from approaching you. But yeah, so this is how it worked before. So like when I was using Soul's 6H, putting his sword into it to get hit, he gets hit like mid-screen with it here, right? And now he's like throwing his fists into it, and it just continues going through him until it hits a certain threshold. So now the way it's going to work is how you thought it worked before, and maybe that's why they're making the change, because it's kind of an obtuse way of thinking about it. But it's still like one of the little things that gave interesting counterplay that seems weird to remove. I don't know. It's a weird one to me, and I'm putting it in... I think I'll put it in surprise. It's not something I'm necessarily worried about, but it's like, why? You know? What are they calling this? Proximity requirement? Fireball counterplay? Alright, tension balance. Tension balance is an internal parameter that affects the amount of tension gained. The amount gained increases when your tension balance is high, and decreases when it is low. Tension balance increases when you move forward or an attack connects with an opponent, and decreases when you create distance between yourself and the opponent, such as by backdash. Okay. I think other people refer to this as tension pulse, but I don't know. I thought this was how it works already. Negative value. Negative value is an internal parameter increased by actions such as backdashing or retreating movement. When it passes a set value, you enter danger state and your tension gauge depletes. Yeah. Run away too much, you lose meter. The state continues, you trigger a negative penalty. Yep. Excuse me. Alright, character changes. Soul bad guy. Standing heavy slash. Big hulking move. Expanded frontal hitbox. Forward slash decrease attack level. No longer launches the opponent on grounded counter hit. Seems weird. So yeah, this is definitely a buff. This is Weird? So it keeps them grounded on counter hit? I don't know if this is a buff or nerf. I have no idea. The decreased attack level makes me think it's a nerf. It'll be much harder. Patch notes made all titties bigger. Aw, damn. There's already mods for that. Go find your mods. Comment down out there. Go get your mods. Gunflame. Decrease startup, decrease active frames, increase movement speed of the projectile. Cool. They're making Gunflame better. Alright. Soul seems like he's like he's doing okay. The far slash or the 6S nerfs are weird. The real patch notes. Never calm it down. I have to like wrangle y'all in. Wall and Seraphon over here just going fucking buck wild. Calm it down. Calm it down. Get the spray bottle out. They're adding Guard Crush for Kai? No. What? No. The addition of Guard Crush effect to Sacred Edge during Shock State and Dragon Install. Adding Guard Crush on Dragon Install is fine. Why would you add it to Sacred Edge? Oh, I guess it's a super. Okay. Oh, and it's only Sacred Edge during Dragon Install. Okay. You know what? Never mind. I got really worried. That's... I guess they want you to use Sacred Edge more in neutral. Ooh. And that's a good reason to use it, giving him Guard Crush. But outside of that, Food Arc now creates less distance with the opponent on grounding hit, making it easier for Kai to continue his offense. That's all versions, not just Shock State. So a buff to Food Arc, which I never block anyways. Seems like he's getting buffs. This also seems crazy. Standing Heavy Slash, expanded frontal hitbox. It's a better poke now. Look. This out of all the changes here, now that like reading through them, like this the Guard Crush requires Shock State, or it requires Dragon Install. Really, the expanded frontal hitbox on Standing Heavy Slash has me going like that's his strongest buff. May. Mr. Dolphin Horizontal has less recovery now when it connects with the opponent. This makes the S version less risky and the Heavy Slash version more plus. Great. Extra distance for a forward jump also makes her aerial approaches more potent. Great. May buffs. Okay. Getting slammed with more dolphins. Got it. Excellent. Oh god. So yeah, she jumps a little bit further. Oh, her 3k increased active frames, reduced recovery. Okay. So this is what you would like combo into for a soft knockdown. Like jab jab 3k, and then it would knock somebody down. Jumping down Heavy Slash now triggers counter effect. Seems dangerous. Mr. Dolphin, reduced recovery on hit or block, so it'll be harder to punish. And easier to combo off of, presumably. Oh my god, this is the beach ball. They buffed the beach ball. Holy shit. They've done it. If you were on your PC, it would go down. Oh, do you need the Totsugeki spam? Hold on. Hold on, where the fuck is it? There you go. I got you, Squall. No problem. Yeah, we'll have even more dolphin spam after the patch. Alright. Axel Low, the ability to cancel standing P, crouching P, and other pokes during their recovery on hit or block makes his strength more prominent at his preferred range. Rainwater now draws the opponent in. Interesting. Isn't Rainwater punishable, or am I thinking of the wrong one? Okay, so you can special cancel 5P and 2P, which sounds good for Axel players. Standing Heavy Slash. The opponent will now be in a crouching state on grounded counter hit. This will make certain combos easier, or allow for new combo routes. Jump P can be special cancelled. Jump K decrease blowback distance, so it'll make comboing easier, I guess. Jump D now launches opponent higher with decreased blowback. Sounds like it could set up Axel Bomber loops a little bit better. Winter Manus, adjusted blowback when used as part of a combo. Now launches opponent higher with decreased blowback. This is the, isn't this the command grab, Winter Manus? So it'll make it easier to get the time stop super. Go all Dio on their ass. Snail, increased knockback. Rainwater, draws opponent in on hit or block. Decreases tension balance and increases negative value. So yeah, that's part of the universal change. Move that takes you further back will add negative value. So slight nerf, but overall Axel buffs. I think most of these are like Axel bros will be happy. Depends on how decreased this blowback distance is. Like Axel has that certain range that he wants to play in since he's a zoner, primarily. It'll be interesting to see some of these changes. I wonder what like the go-to special cancel will be for 5P and 2P. Because normally that was just your check. Like if they're approaching you, you'll just throw that out and it'll like check them and stop them. Do a little bit of damage, but it just like keeps them in that range that you want. Okay, Alpha Blade Horizontal now sends the opponent flying towards Chip, making it easier to land more hits. Reduced startup for Senchu means that it can combo from Rokusai on crouching hit. Jesus Christ. I think that's just part of his Rekka. Okay, so easier to combo off of Alpha Blade Horizontal. Sounds cool. Could be cool. Chip seems to be doing good already, and they're not changing the big change that made him really prominent, which is the Rekka cancel, the Kara cancel into super from his Rekka Ken. Okay, Potemkin. Big buffs for Potemkin, potentially. Additional range for his poke, such as far standing slash and standing heavy slash, improve his mid-range game. Hammerfall also allows for more aggressive approaches as the timing Potemkin can withstand attacks is now faster. He gets armor faster using Hammerfall, okay. A close range faster startup for FDB makes it harder for the opponent to escape by jumping, meaning his core throw mix-up is more potent. Which one is FDB? Oh, is that the flick? Alright. I think that is. When you say Rekka, you think about King of Fighters. It's, when I talk about it, I'm talking about from Street Fighter, Fei Long, is Rekka Ken. It's basically a move that has follow-up moves if you do the same input again. So like for Fei Long, he had like the punch where he'd go wah, wah, wah. Do it like 3 times. That's where I picked up the term from. So it's like any move that has follow-ups to it where you just do the same input. In my eyes, that's what Rekka is. Anyways, faster flick means it should be good. If that is what FDB is. I kind of want to check. Just go into character select real quick. Give me a moment. Where even is Potemkin on the character select screen? That is how often I play this character. Yeah. So, if you haven't seen this move before, 1, I don't blame you. and 2, it's actually kind of cool. Because he's able to just flick projectiles, and it sends like a projectile back of his own, which makes his approach a little bit better. This is the other one they were talking about, the Hammerfall. So it's going to get armor a little bit earlier, make it easier to use when you're approaching. It doesn't get used too much, but like you can use it to end pressure sequences, right? And try and get people into like block stun or do something with it. But yeah, it doesn't get used too often. But it has really solid range. Like, it's just, you know, if you're playing Potemkin, your goal is to fucking bust, right? So it ain't no Zangief fan? No. That's what the other move is used for. So this one they're also buffing. See how he gets the armor on the way in? So they're gonna make it so he gets that a little bit faster. Right now if I do this like too fast, yeah, he doesn't have the armor. So he just gets counter hit out of it. I don't remember how to do Heavenly Potemkin Buster. But anyways. Back to the patch notes. But yeah, hopefully it'll get used a little bit more. You know, faster flick, expanded hurt boxes on Far Slash, standing heavy slash, reduced recovery on his sweep. Heat Knuckle draws the opponent in on Guard Crush. That's fucking terrifying. Heat Knuckle's that thing that I did at the end there that broke the wall. Like, grabs you out of the air. But you can block that. It's not like a proper anti-air grab. So, you can block it, but now it'll draw you in. Terrifying. Mega Fist backward gets, yeah, increases tension, or decreases tension balance, increases negative value. This is part of the universal change. Hammerfall sped up the timing that he gets the armor. Expanded lower hitbox, so it'll hit, because there's some characters that can just like have certain crouch attacks that'll low profile it. It's just a sad day for Potemkin if that happens. So, fixing that. Faust. Increased knockback on standing heavy slash sweep, etc. allows Faust to create some distance from the opponent, meaning he can use what could this be more. So they increase the knockback on moves so he can do his item toss. Get more random items on the screen. I'm gonna skip this song, otherwise it'll mute my VOD. Hopefully I wasn't too late. Sure. Reduce startup for Mix, which is his tornado move. Makes it easier to use in combos, and makes it harder for the opponent to interrupt. Okay. Air Dash. Sped up the timing of the input buffer window. Seems strange. Crouching P. Reduced upper hurt box, so it's harder to hit his crouch punch. Okay. 6P. Increased knockback. Sounds good for him. Yeah, these are the changes he talked about. So increased knockback, because these are the moves that you want to cancel into your item toss. They made Scarecrow harder to hit? That seems absurd. That seems like he didn't need it. Increased attack level of Tandem Top makes it less risky for Millia to use in strings and during neutral. Okay, so that's her S-Disc. I'm hoping for big changes here. I want my girl to be able to play the game. Now has access to powerful mix-up in more situations, as she can cross up the opponent using Turbo Fall even in the corner. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they may have given us a good tool. Ah, hold on. We're adding this one to the good changes list. Turbo Fall corner cross up. Yes. Yes. Okay, if you only come from, like, Street Fighter, this may not sound like a big deal. But I have to show this now. Now that this has come up. just go to character select. Pick Melia and good old Leo here, because Leo's a rule breaker already. So I can show something off with Leo. Oh man, I'm a happy camper. Turbo Fall crosses up in the corner, that's fucked up. Alright, so normally when you have an opponent in the corner here, so he can't go any further back, he'll get wall splatted if I do too long a combo. You can't do anything to get Melia into the corner here, right? It makes her mix-up less scary, and this is like universal for everybody. You can't cross up in the corner. You can in Street Fighter and games like that, so, but in most Dark Sys games, you can't cross them up in the corner. Even if I knock them into the air with the disc, I can't get back there. There are a few rule breakers, and it's why I chose Leo here, that have special moves that'll get them into the corner. So, because, you know, he needs it. But yeah, typically, no getting into the corner. Can't air dash behind him to get a cross-up. But now what they're saying is that this move, Melia's fastball, will now get her into the corner during mix-up situations. That's dangerous. That's fucked up. I love it. What a great change. Thank you, ArcSys. Oh man. I don't know if that's enough to make her good. We'll see what the rest of the changes are. But like, ooh man. I'm a happy camper reading about that one. Yeah, the patch notes are for the 15th. So right now, I can't cross up. But when the patch hits on the 15th, I'll be able to go into the corner. Yeah. These notes are for a patch that hasn't happened yet. We got 2 more days. 2 more days, Squall, and then I'll be able to. But yeah, that's a really cool change. I like that. It's kind of fucked up. But yeah, before, like, when Melia got you into the corner and she began running Discoki, there's like... You're saying, like, the fuck you mean? Yeah. No, it's for the upcoming patch on the 15th. I will be doing it soon. Not doing it now. We'll be doing it soon. Okay, let's see what some of the other Melia changes are. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be writing down my notes, right? What are some of the weird ones? Oh, the worried about... Or I guess more surprised about Soul 6S. That was weird. Anything else that was really good? I don't really remember. I don't think so. Everything just kind of makes sense, or it's in line with the universal changes they're making. But of course I'm going to be more excited for my main character getting buffs, right? Okay, she now has access to powerful mix-up in more situations. She can cross up with Turbo Fall in the corner. So reduce recovery on 6k, which is her overhead kick. Standing Heavy Slash now bounces the opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback. Standing Heavy Slash, I only used in like certain strings, but that sounds like it could be good. 6 heavy, decreased attack startup, sweet. Sweep, reduced recovery, harder to punish sweep. Yes! Ground throw, frame advantage and distance after a successful throw is now the same against all characters. Yes. We don't have different Oki against heavies. I'm pretty sure that's all this is clearing up here. But yeah, there were certain characters that could like come out of it and punish Melia faster after you tried to set up with a grounded throw. Turbo Fall. Melia can now move to the other side of the opponent even when they're in the corner, and reduced hurtbox behind Melia. So just cleaning up the hurt box a little bit. Tandem Top has increased attack level for Slash and Heavy Slash, so all versions. That could be interesting. I'll have to see. Will we have top tier Milia? Probably not. But I like all these changes. I think all these make sense and are cool. I'm happy. Zato. The ability to move only Zato or only Eddie during Break the Law opens up new possibilities for strings. The reduced hurt box on activation of Sun Void makes it more difficult for the opponent to interrupt it when used in block strings. Sun Void is the sword super, so I guess he has longer block strings now while he has meter and can go into super. 6k reduce recovery, decrease knockback. This is his overhead that didn't really get used because you would just use 5D. You would just use the universal overhead option. Jump D, sped up the timing when Zato pauses before the attack is active. This is something that Zato players were claiming was a glitch. I'm pretty sure that's them trying to fix the glitch. Break the Law, hold OK. Only Eddie will now move when diagonals are input, and Eddie will no longer move when upward diagonals are input. Cool. Just sounds like cool changes without hurting anything too badly. I think Zato will be in like the same place. We haven't seen him in too many top 8s since the last patch because I just think because the other options, like the other top tier options, were juicier and performed well against him. Outside of Nago, I think struggled with him, but like Ram did well against him. Axel does well against him. Axel's not really a top tier, but I believe Happy Chaos does well against him. We'll see. Ram, additional range for Crouch Heavy Slash. Great. Jump Dust now works better as a jump in. Added a hitbox behind her. Why? What? As Error Luma was a potent offensive tool from any situation, the damage and situation on hit have been reworked. I don't know what this move is. Oh, this is the Rekka. So they decrease damage on Rekka. They can now recover after landing. Big swords need buff, okay. I guess. Expanded frontal hitbox, expanded hitbox and hurtbox behind Ramlethal. And then they decrease the damage on her Rekka. I want to see what this is. And now recover after landing. Did the second hit cause like guard crush in the air or something? We're gonna be going back and forth a lot, so I can just see what it's talking about. But it's also like the only nerf she's getting, so I want to check it out. Where's Ram?
Ramlethal Valentine. Leo Whitefang.
So go ahead and set the opponent to all guard, and we want him to jump. Wrong button. Definitely just hit kick there. So I guess they'll land faster and can recover afterwards. You look so happy to see me now. Yeah, I guess you recover faster if you block it in the air, so it'll be easier to punish now. You look so happy to see me now. Who? Leo? Maybe. He's another character I struggle against, but I don't think it's for any reason that like nerfs would fix. I have a mental block against that character. Just jumping up and down on the spot. I had to test it. Alright. They can recover after landing, so I guess if you block it in the air, you can now punish it. You block it. This shit seems wild. Jump Dust gets a hitbox behind her. It says and hurtbox, so maybe it'll be easier to trade with too. I don't see why they expanded the front hitbox on Crouch Heavy Slash. That shit's just fun. Leo Whitefang. The adjustments to knockback and blowback for 6k and the increased range for, I ain't pronouncing that one, make them more viable in combos and forming strong block strings. Sweep launching the opponent higher on hit gives Leo more of an advantage, making it easier for him to go into Oki. Because that's what he struggled with before, was getting in on people and going into his Oki. Great. Excellent. It says certain hurt boxes have expanded hurt box, 6k decrease knockback, decrease horizontal knockback distance. Quarter circle forward to S. So that's just his kind of approaching slash. Kind of used as like a combo ender. I don't know why they needed to make the sweep launch the opponent higher. his sweep has always been so good already. I don't think he needed that. But you know, sure. That seems wild. Nago. Nagoriyuki's defense now varies with the current amount of blood gauge. The damage and attack properties of his normal moves still increase the higher his blood gauge gets. But he now also takes heavier damage from the opponent, meaning he needs to consider any risks he takes in neutral. Cool. That sounds like a really cool way to approach nerfing him. What the fuck you talking about, Squall? Somebody get him help. Crouching S has increased recovery as it was an exceptionally powerful poke. Okay, nerf 2S. It's cool. I think that sounds good. And now he takes more damage the more blood he has. Yu Yu Hakusho. I need to rewatch Yu Yu Hakusho. It's another one on the anime list, which just keeps growing. I just keep not watching stuff. Then it started off okay, and he just collapsed onto his keyboard. Just a fucking mess of letters. So yeah, this seems really cool. I like the idea that not only does his offense vary with his blood gauge, but now his defense will vary with it as well. So as he's approaching his blood rage mechanic, he'll take more damage. So he has to... He has the added risks of a neutral heavy character. Or like a zoner character when he's high on blood and needs to rely on his good spacing and neutral. He'll also like take more damage when people approach him. That sounds cool. Sounds like a good, meaningful way without like hitting too many of his tools. Crouching S, increased recovery. Hakusho's one where the English dub is really good too. Yeah, I remember watching it on fucking Toonami. A wild blast from the past. Crouching S, increased recovery. This is cool. Although, it might be targeted at Hotashi a little bit in particular, because he loved hitting 2S. Far standing slash, final follow-up hit, reduced recovery, so it's harder to punish the third hit. Seems weird. But also probably fine. Standing heavy slash, reduce lower hitbox. So there's probably moves that weren't going under it that were supposed to. Although this isn't the one that we needed the reduced lower hitbox on. It was his 5k. If his 5k is making it out untouched, it's still a problem. Oh boy. Ugh. Anyways, Fukio back now increases negative value and reduces tension balance. So that's in line with the universal tension negative penalty changes. Giovanna. Crouching Heavy Slash now draws the opponent in, creating major changes in her combos. That seems weird. Using it as Soul Puente can lead to higher reward than before. She has access to more powerful combos in the corner due to the new wall bounce effect for standing. Oh god. Okay, that's pretty cool. Crouching Heavy Slash. Okay, so standing Heavy Slash bounces opponent higher, decrease horizontal blowback, added wall bounce effect. Better for comboing. Crouching Heavy Slash draws the opponent in on hit or block. Interesting. Ground throw. Frame advantage and distance after a successful throw. Okay, this is the same as, like, the Milia change, right? Because these are both characters that get good pressure off of their throws, or supposed to, so they're just making sure that it's more universal against the cast, that you don't need to, like, vary up the timing for specific characters or specific weight classes. Soul Puente, all versions. So this is her flip kick, right? Reduce lower hurt box, so it's harder to anti-air probably. Now less likely to end up behind opponent when the first hit hits an opponent near the corner. Yeah, because the first hit would draw them out. So I think that's good. I think. And then on the ground, first hit now launches the opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback. First hit now launches the opponent less than before when used multiple times in one combo. Okay. Anji Mito. Standing Heavy Slash now launches the opponent on grounded hit, making it possible to combo from Fujin into Rin, and then go into Oki off of, I'm guessing that's Butterfly. Meaning he not only has access to more combo routes, but they also lead to better situations for him. That sounds good. Sounds promising. Nagiha gives Anji more of an advantage now due to the blowback adjustment, making it easier for him to maintain his offense. Nagiha was the Flash follow-up? Yeah, so it's the low. Okay, cool. Sounds good for Anji players. I don't know if it'll shoot them up the tier list, but it sounds good. Standing Heavy Slash launching sounds weird. But might be fine. It's one I need to see. His 6P has an expanded frontal hitbox. Hey, they made his anti-air better. Cool. She can now jump cancel the beginning of her hover dash. Seems wild. This allows her to move a greater distance forward than with a standard jump. Combined with the reduction to Sultry Performance's landing recovery, she now has a greater arsenal of approach options from mid-air. Dash startup can now be cancelled. Sped up timing when Ino can block, so she can block faster after dashing. Timing is now the same as when cancelling the startup of a jumping attack with faultless defense. Okay, that's bringing it in line with like how run works in Strive in general, I think. My water cup was a little full. I spilled a little on myself. We're all good. Fix a bug where it was possible to Psych Burst after a dash cancel. Okay, so people getting accidental bursts when you were dashing. Okay. Air dash. The motion will now be interrupted if a backwards direction has been input. Antidepressant scale all versions. Added proximity requirement for the attack to connect. Expanded attack hitbox on hit or block. This seems so weird. That seems so weird to me. I'll have to see it in action, but I think this one is weird, that you can't, like, move moves. You can't, like, move certain moves further into it to get it off the screen and only take a little bit of damage. That seems so weird. Stroke the Big Tree, all versions. Reduce hurt box before movement begins, so it'll be harder to hit out of startup. The upper hurt box of this attack steadily decreases as the move comes out as before. This change reduces the hurt box for a set timing when it was extended too high. Okay. Sultry Performance, KNS. This is midair only, reduced landing recovery. So it's safer to use her dive kicks, sounds like. Gold Lewis Dickinson. Expanding the hitbox of jumping heavy slash behind Gold Lewis makes it easier to connect after jumping over the opponent. This makes his pressure from close range even more potent, because he needed it. Thunderbird now disappears when Gold Lewis takes damage. Oh my god! They nerf drone. Hallelujah. So they gave him a more potent cross-up option, the back scratcher, but drone got hit. Oh man. Gold Lewis mains are not going to be happy about that one. Standing K, added stagger effect on counter hit. This sounds good. That sounds annoyingly good. Can you get a behemoth off of stand K counter hit now? Jumping heavy slash. Expanded hitbox and hurtbox behind Gold Lewis. Thunderbird. Attack hitbox now disappears when Gold Lewis takes damage. The hit effect of the final hit now varies depending on security level. Interesting. Will it pop them up higher at higher security levels? Burn it down, all versions. Increase number of hits. This is his orbital laser super. Butt scratcher, butt scratcher. Jack O. Old Jack O. Servants now fly higher and farther when hit with crouching slash. I don't remember which one crouching slash is. Makes it viable not only as a starting point for her offense, but also in powerful strings, making use of the time difference before the attack hits. Changes to countdown's launch on hit makes it easier for her to go into a combo after blocking the explosion. Okay, when she blocks it, I think is what they're saying here. Only thing that matters is her pose. That was one of the greatest advertisement campaigns that accidentally happened. Everybody drawing their favorite characters in the Jacko pose. And people still don't know where it came from. So sad. Crouch slash. Change the servant's trajectory. It sounds like they want this to be like a mix-up tool during block string pressure. I think is the idea. This attack. Reduce frontal hurtbox after the attack active frames end. So it'll be a bit harder to punish her 5D when she's using it in pressure, I guess. Servants. Fix a bug causing unintended servant behavior when a servant's hitbox touches another servant under certain conditions. Sorry, bug fix. Throw servant all versions. Added a wall bounce effect? Hold the fuck up. Hold up, throw servant has a wall bounce effect? What the fuck? They didn't talk about that in the rundown. What the fuck do you mean you added a wall bounce effect? To the servant? Or to the person getting hit by them? That seems dangerous. Release servant, all versions. Will now register input when the button is held as well. So this will probably make it faster to let the servant go. That one up. The best one you saw was Waluigi. Wow. Countdown, all versions. Adjusted launch, increase in time when follow-up attacks are possible. Alright, happy chaos changes. Jump dust now draws the opponent in, making it easier to lead into advantageous situations for chaos at close range. As 6K could be easily included in combos from any situation and was extremely powerful in maintaining offense on block, the attack startup has been increased. You may no longer be able to use 6K in combos. Skip the entire section, you don't want to be disappointed. It no longer hits consecutively from crouching kick, etc., meaning different moves will be needed for different situations. Okay, so it sounds like they hit his combo routing. So he may have a harder time going from coast to coast and wall splatting you. Jump Dust drawing the opponent in sounds fucking hilarious. I don't know what move Jump Dust is. We're gonna look at some Happy Chaos gameplay, so Squall's gonna be sad with me for a bit. But I need to know what that move is.
To enter the mayhem. Hey, Leo Whitefang.
look away for a little bit. I need to know if it's his toe tap or not. That's basically all I need to know. Because he would use that in the corner. Oh, it's this move. So this is gonna draw opponents in? That's gross. Because he already had like the roll for the low. Now he has this that'll draw you in, then you roll to the other side and do the gun flip. That's fucked. But yeah, he can't combo into this reliably anymore. And this was a pretty egregious tool, right? So far advancing, you could combo off of it. So that sounds like a good hit if you're trying to nerf him. It doesn't even hit normally. It's pretty funny. You have to cross up with it. Alright. Anywho, back to the patch notes. He's off the screen. He's off the screen. Scapegoat. Okay, so Jump Dust draws the opponent in. At the ready, reduced recovery when activated with no concentration. I think it's fine that he had recovery on this move when you had no concentration. That's kind of the point. Scapegoat, so this is in line with the universal changes, right? These moves move him backwards, so now they'll increase your negative penalty. Cool. Viken. Viken is more of a threat at close range now, as she can more easily follow up on cross-up Yozansen mix-up. By expanding the hitbox of the explosion part of Kenju, which I think is just the gun, it now functions better as a poke and in combos. Tatami Gaish removed usage restriction. Perfect. Love it. So this means she can just spam it, because before you wouldn't be able to spam it if the Tatami was already on the screen, like falling down. So now she can more easily spam it. Yozansen, decrease horizontal blowback distance of the later half of active frames. So specifically for like cross-up Yozansen. And then the gun. Expanded hitbox. Awesome. She didn't need too much, but people were worried that if she got too many buffs, she would be, like, egregious. And the Tatami one might be a little silly. This is one we'll have to see. Also, comboing off of Yozansen. So it's no longer, like, just a round closer going for cross-up Yozansen. Now sounds like you can more reliably combo off of it. Grave Reaper. So Testament changes. Grave Reaper can now be used back-to-back, greatly improving Testament's control over neutral. Crouching Heavy Slash now draws the opponent in, opening up new uses and combos and block strings. Cool. Has reduced launch. All versions removed usage restriction, so now Testament can spam their Fireball. That's all there is to it. That sounds fucking scary, actually. Even Romola tweeted about this one, because she's like the Testament main you kind of look at right now. But essentially, the way it works now, I'll just pull it up, because it is something that I think is going to be scary.
Dares to enter the mayhem. Testament. Leo Whitefang.
Yeah, for Testament, Grave Reaper is their Fireball. But basically, what they mean by removing usage restriction means that if it's on the screen, you can't throw another Fireball, right? So this is saying that you can now, like, cancel it and throw more while there's still a Fireball on screen. Which could be scary, because their zoning game is already really, really strong. So being able to throw them faster in like those situations seems spooky. Ba-ba-ba. Pull my notepad back up. Worried about. No changes I'm necessarily worried about right now. I think everything sounds good. Surprise, I guess. Move cooldown for Fireball. This was on Testament and somebody else, right? Tatami. Yeah, for Baiken. Kind of surprised, maybe kind of worried about. Especially when it comes to the Tatami. Because Baiken's just like one or two changes from being like obnoxious. I've already seen some pretty salty tweets over Baiken already. So like further changes could push her into obnoxious territory. Yeah, presumably they want Testament to be like the premier Fireball zoner with those changes. And we'll just have to see how it plays out when the patch goes live, right? Bridget. Bridget has more opportunities to launch her offense from neutral due to the increased projectile speed and reduced recoveries for stop and dash. There's more potent options available after rolling movement connects, as the changes to the knockback and trajectory create less distance with the opponent and leave Bridget at more of an advantage. Crouch Punch, expanded lower hitbox and hurtbox. 6P now causes blowback on hit when the opponent is standing. Blowback is the same as when hitting a crouching opponent. Command normal 4. So slash after far standing S or crouching S. Okay. Expanded lower hitbox and hurtbox. So they want these moves to connect more frequently. Bridget needs higher damage. I mean, looks like they're giving it, right? Stop and dash, increased damage. So this is specifically on her yo-yo toss. Giving her more damage on that. Which does hit a lot, in my experience. You may not necessarily like combo into it or use it reliably that way, but throwing it out in neutral so you can set up your rolling movement and stuff is really important. So if she's getting more stray hits with increased damage from that, that's probably a good thing for her. Stop and dash all versions, reduce recovery, so she's able to block after placing the yo-yo. Rolling movement, decreased knockback, increased descent speed. When activated as the yo-yo returns to Bridget, she now moves towards where the yo-yo was placed. Okay, so it'll make movement more consistent when you're using it. Fix a bug where double jump, air dash, and air backdash could not be used under certain conditions. That's good. Like, part of the point of using it is you can have tricky movement when activated. Counter hit state now ends at the same time as the active frames. I don't know what that means. Maybe it'll be harder to combo off of, but that seems weird. I don't know if this means it'll be easier or harder to combo off of. I think easier to combo off of. I'm not too sure. Fix a bug where the opponent would sometimes enter a blocking pose after the active frames end. Kind of a nerf, but it just makes it more consistent with other DPs. We are listening to Burn My Bread. Kickstart My Heart, expanded proximity requirement for the attack to connect. Okay, so it won't connect up close anymore. This might make the Kara cancel easier. Hopefully. Break, expanded upper hitbox, reduce launch with decreased horizontal blowback, added a tumble effect. You may get a better follow-up after break now. Return to the killing machine, increased number of hits. So this is the Roger on the motorcycle super. Sin. There are no character-specific changes for Sin, as he was released quite recently. Only the universal changes to tension gauge, wrist level, base damage scaling, etc. apply. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured they might have done like some quality of life buffs, but I think they plan these balance patches like in very lengthy steps, and they want to make sure that Sin has had enough time to settle before making any changes. Makes sense. Cool. All the patch notes. Whew. It was only 2 hours of talking. That was cool. Yeah. So far as the notes go, cross-platform, good. Ping indicator, good. Muting, reporting, blocking being made easier or a thing in general, good. Skipping rating update, good. Rematching after rank up, good. Risk reset after burst, I like that change, but it could be a little strange. Makes burst punishing a little bit less. Could have been spent gaming instead, it's true. This is why I'm a floor 9 player and not a celestial gamer. This is supposed to be retreating moves, increasing negative penalty. That's a good thing. I feel like they should have in the first place, but, you know, now they do. Turbo fall, corner cross-up. This is specifically Amelia change that I'm happy with. Thank God. Messed up. Muting stops with game shutdown. That's just fucking weird. Why? Why if I mute somebody, does it stop after the game shuts down? Why? Surprised by the 6P changes. A universal hurt box on everybody. Hopefully this doesn't mean that... I hope this isn't a nerf to the characters with good 6Ps. But it could be. That is kind of weird to me. I know some people were upset at 6P the game, oh, but it's really only a couple characters that have it like really bad. And I think it makes sense for the most part for them. Proximity requirement on attacks. This is weird. I don't know if I like this. It's like specifically for Eno and then like a Bridget move. I think were the ones that were noted for it. The Soul 6S hitbox. I don't know why it needed to eat any more hits. Decrease attack level and it doesn't launch anymore. I don't know. Why? Worried about big bodies getting extra meter on defense. So this is like a universal change that I'm just worried that it already feels bad running offense on a big body and then having them pretty much be guaranteed to come out of the exchange with more meter and access to more resources to make the comeback happen. And I'm worried that with increased tension on block, it'll feel even worse. Where you're spending a bunch of resources to open them up or trying to finish off the job and you can't quite do it because they have really high life, and then they just make a fucking sick comeback on you over and over and over again. And then the removed cooldowns for fireballs on Testament, or more specifically Baiken in this case, being weird and could potentially be scary. Other than that, rank changes look pretty cool. I think people were hoping for like really insane nerfs, but I prefer these like slight tweaks. I wish they would happen more frequently, but that's an Arxis balancing team decision, you know. But hopefully we'll see a small change up in the tiers. Oh, I guess the only other worry I had was Leo's sweep got better. I hate it. Because Leo kind of got knocked down a peg with the last patch, but he's still like very much in that contender for the top ranks of characters, and like it's so scary thinking of more Leo players running around, having him being really strong. But we'll see when the patch hits. We shall see.